Hey there, I'm Alex, a certified fitness trainer with over 10 years of experience helping people transform their bodies and live healthier lives. If you've been trying to lose weight, watching what you eat, maybe even exercising regularly, but still not seeing the results you expected, this video is for you. Because believe it or not, there are some diet mistakes that most people make without even realizing, and they might be the very reason you're gaining weight instead of losing it. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment where you thought you were eating healthy, but somehow the scale just kept creeping up? If that sounds familiar, don't worry, you're not alone. In fact, I've seen countless clients struggle with this exact issue. That's why today, I'm going to break down 10 surprising diet mistakes that could be sabotaging your progress. Even if you think you're doing everything right, some of these will absolutely shock you. And there's one particular mistake that I'll reveal at the end. It's something even fitness enthusiasts fall for. So stick with me till the last minute. Let's get into it, because you might be just one fix away from real change. Let's start with the first big mistake, thinking that low fat means healthy. This is one of the most common traps people fall into when they're trying to lose weight. You go to the grocery store, pick up snacks or meals labeled low fat or fat free, thinking you're making a smart choice. But here's the truth, most of these products are loaded with added sugars or artificial ingredients to make up for the lack of fat. And those extra sugars, they spike your insulin, increase your hunger later, and yes, they contribute to fat storage. Now let me give you a quick real-life example. One of my clients used to eat low-fat yogurt every morning, thinking it was a perfect start to the day. But guess what? That little cup had more sugar than a candy bar. When we switched her to full, plain Greek yogurt with some fresh fruit, her cravings dropped and her fat loss finally kicked in. Fat isn't the enemy, bad nutrition is. So next time you pick something up just because it says low fat, flip the label and read what's actually inside. You might be surprised how marketing tricks you into eating more than you should. Mistake number 2 is not tracking your little bites and tastes throughout the day. You know what I'm talking about, a spoonful of peanut butter here, a few chips while cooking, maybe finishing off your kids' fries. Seems harmless, right? But those tiny bites add up fast, and they might be adding hundreds of extra calories without you even noticing. Let me ask you, have you ever followed your meal plan perfectly, but still gained weight? Chances are, those sneaky little snacks might be the culprit. I had a client once who swore he was eating clean all week. When I asked him to track every single bite, even the ones standing at the fridge, he realized he was eating almost 500 extra calories a day, just from little tastes. Here's the deal. Your body doesn't care whether a calorie came from a real meal or a quick bite, it counts everything. And if you're not mindful of those extras, they will slow down your progress, or even reverse it. So next time you catch yourself nibbling, ask, am I actually hungry, or just on autopilot? Awareness is the first step to control. Mistake number 3 is believing that skipping breakfast will help you lose weight. I get it, you're busy in the morning, or maybe you think fewer meals means fewer calories. But here's what actually happens. You skip breakfast, and by lunchtime, you're absolutely starving. That leads to overeating, poor food choices, or binging later in the day. Let me tell you about one of my clients. She used to skip breakfast thinking it was helping her slim down. But by 3 p.m., she was so hungry she'd grab anything. Cookies, chips, sugary coffee drinks, just to keep going. Once we added a high-protein breakfast to her routine, her energy stayed stable, her cravings dropped, and the fat finally started melting off. Your body needs fuel to function, especially in the morning. When you skip meals, your metabolism can actually slow down. Plus, your blood sugar dips, your mood crashes, and your workouts suffer. Now, I'm not saying you need a 5-course meal. Even something simple like eggs, oats, or a protein smoothie can make a huge difference. So don't let the myth of less is better trick you. Sometimes, eating smart is better than eating less. Mistake number 4 is overeating healthy foods. Yep, you heard that right. Just because something is healthy doesn't mean you can eat unlimited amounts of it. Almonds, avocados, dark chocolate, protein bars, all great choices, but only in the right portions. Let me ask you, have you ever sat down with a bag of mixed nuts, thinking it's a healthy snack, and then suddenly realized you've eaten half the bag? That's hundreds of calories right there, and most of the time, it happens without even noticing. One of my clients used to top every meal with olive oil, nuts, cheese, all healthy fats. But the portion sizes were out of control. When we measured and balanced those out, the fat loss finally started to show. Here's the key. Healthy doesn't mean calorie-free. Calories still count, no matter how nutritious the food is. And when your goal is fat loss, portion control matters just as much as food quality. So next time you reach for that big scoop of peanut butter or pour that little extra dressing, pause and think, am I eating what I need or just what I want? Mistake number 5 is emotional eating. Eating when you're stressed, bored, sad, or even happy. And let me tell you, this one is sneaky because it has nothing to do with physical hunger. It's all about emotions, habits, and comfort. Have you ever had a rough day and found yourself standing in the kitchen, snacking without even realizing it? Or maybe you celebrate small wins with a treat, a slice of cake, some fast food, or a whole pizza. It feels good in the moment, but over time, these patterns add up and they hit your progress hard. I once coached a client who wasn't losing weight, even though her meals were clean. When we looked deeper, we discovered she was snacking every evening, not because she was hungry, but because she was lonely and tired after work. When we swapped that habit with a short walk, a warm shower, and journaling, the late-night cravings faded. The truth is, food can never fix feelings. It's fuel, not therapy. Start asking yourself, am I hungry, or just trying to feel better? That one question can change everything. Mistake number 6 is drinking your calories. Sounds simple, but it's one of the fastest ways people unknowingly gain weight. I'm talking about sugary drinks like sodas, fancy coffee beverages, fruit juices, and even those healthy smoothies packed with hidden sugars. Let me paint you a picture. Someone starts their day with a caramel latte, grabs a bottled juice during lunch, and finishes the evening with a protein shake that's more like a milkshake. All of this feels healthy or harmless, but guess what? That's easily 500 to 700 calories just from drinks. And here's the kicker. Liquid calories don't make you feel full. Your brain doesn't register them the same way as solid food. One of my clients had this exact issue. She was eating clean, working out hard, but wasn't losing a single pound. Once we cut back her sugary drinks and replaced them with water, green tea, and black coffee, boom, the fat started dropping. Here's the deal. If you're trying to lose weight, prioritize hydration, not flavored sugar water, in disguise. Your body will thank you, and your results will speed up. Mistake number 7 is eating too late at night, especially heavy, carb-loaded meals right before bed. Now, let me be clear. It's not that eating at night is magically bad. It's what and how much you're eating that usually causes the problem. Think about it. Late at night, you're not burning many calories. You're relaxing, watching TV, maybe scrolling your phone. But your appetite, it's still active and emotional. That's when the cravings hit. And if you're eating big portions of pasta, desserts, or salty snacks before sleep, that food is just sitting there, getting stored as fat, especially if you're already in a calorie surplus. One of my clients used to have a small, late-night snack, but when we tracked it, that snack turned out to be almost half of his daily calories. When we shifted his bigger meals earlier in the day and kept dinner lighter, his energy went up and the belly fat started to come off. So here's my advice. Aim to finish eating at least 2 hours before bed and keep nighttime meals light, something high in protein, low in carbs. You'll sleep better, digest better, and burn fat more efficiently. Mistake number 8 is skipping meals to save calories, especially lunch or dinner. On the surface, it sounds logical. Eat less meals, take in fewer calories, lose weight faster, right? But in reality, it usually backfires hard. Here's what happens. You skip lunch thinking you're being disciplined, but by late afternoon, your hunger levels shoot through the roof. That's when willpower crashes and cravings take over. You end up overeating at dinner, and not just a little. You go for the heavy carbs, the sweets, the snacks, anything your body can grab to make up for what it missed. One of my clients was doing exactly this. She thought skipping meals would accelerate her fat loss, but she was constantly tired, moody, and binging. In the evening, once we built a steady meal schedule with balanced nutrition, no starvation, just smart timing, her cravings disappeared and her body finally responded. Remember this. Fat loss is not about starving yourself. It's about fueling your body strategically. Skipping meals slows your metabolism, messes with your hormones, and creates a cycle that's hard to break. Stay consistent, stay nourished, and you'll stay in control. Mistake number 9 is not getting enough protein and fiber in your diet. These two nutrients are absolute game changers when it comes to fat loss. Yet most people are missing the mark, especially if their meals revolve around processed carbs or sugary snacks. Let me break it down. Protein helps you build and maintain lean muscle, which boosts your metabolism even while you're resting. It also keeps you full for longer, reducing those annoying cravings. Fiber, on the other hand, slows digestion, balances blood sugar, and supports healthy digestion. Together, they create the perfect combo for steady energy and fat burning. I remember one guy at the gym who was working out like a beast but never seemed to get leaner. When I asked about his diet, he was eating mostly rice, bread, and fruit, barely any protein, and almost no fiber. We tweaked his meals to include chicken, eggs, beans, leafy greens, and whole grains. Within weeks, the results were visible. More muscle, less fat, more energy. So, ask yourself, are you eating enough to fuel your results or just enough to survive the day? Mistake number 10 is constantly jumping between fad diets and quick fixes. Keto 1 week, intermittent fasting the next, then maybe a detox. Cleanse because your favorite influencer swears by it. Sound familiar? Here's the thing, every time you switch diets, your body gets confused. Your metabolism gets stressed. And mentally, you start feeling frustrated and defeated. And worst of all, none of it feels sustainable. You might lose a little weight in the short term, but it almost always comes back, and sometimes even more than before. One of my clients had tried 7 different diets in less than a year. Each one promised magic, but none gave lasting results. When we finally sat down and built a balanced, flexible plan that fit her lifestyle, no extremes, no restrictions, that's when she started to see real progress. Not just on the scale, but in her energy, her mood, and her confidence. The truth is, consistency beats perfection. You don't need the perfect diet, you need the one you can stick to. So instead of chasing trends, focus on building strong habits. That's where real transformation begins. We've made it far, ready for the final section and a powerful close. Alright, we've covered a lot today, and if any of those mistakes hit home for you, don't worry, you're not alone. Even the most disciplined people fall into these traps. The important thing is that now, you know better. And when you know better, you can do better. Let me remind you why we started this video. You've been working hard, maybe even eating what you thought was right, but still not seeing the progress you deserve. And the truth is, it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. Fixing just 1 or 2 of these hidden mistakes could completely change your results. Remember that mistake I said I'd reveal at the end, the one even fitness pros fall for. It's ignoring consistency. No matter how perfect your plan is, if you're only following it half the time, the results will be just as inconsistent. The magic is in the repeat, showing up every day, even when it's not perfect. So here's my final advice. Don't try to fix everything at once. Pick one mistake, change one habit, and build from there. Progress is a journey, and you're on the right path now. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's crush this together.